So Emily thinks I have a pinched nerve in my neck.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. It's not been fun.
No, I bet.
Yeah, like, if I turn my neck too fast or too much, like certain ways, it feels like someone's punching me in the back of the skull, having a little bit of numbness in my shoulder.
Great.
Can't move certain ways. It sucks.
That sucks a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Yep.
So, sleeping's fun.
Is it bothering you in your sleep, or?
A bit, yeah, because, like, I've always been a stomach sleeper.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So then, like, I have to, like, sleep on my side or on my back to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit.
Well, that sucks.
Yep. Nice cheery notes for
Yeah.
the opening of the episode.
Yeah.
Can only get better from here.
I'll tell you what. James, have you been watching Jeopardy lately?
I have not.
Well, let's make this 3 episodes straight. We start with the Jeopardy topic.
What is Jedi Dropouts?
That's a good question. What is Jedi Dropouts? So, if you haven't been watching Jeopardy, this guy James Holzhauer, you must have heard of him by now.
Oh, I've heard of them. It's just I've been working a lot lately, so and like Jeopardy comes on the same time my shift starts.
Okay, yeah.
So like I'm just like catching bits and pieces as I'm like coming and going at work. So I'll catch like one question here and there.
Yeah. It's funny because Jeopardy got brought up in our last 2 episodes, and then this guy comes out of nowhere and makes it like impossible to ignore, to the point where like non-Jeopardy watchers are talking about this guy.
Yeah, he's the Avengers Endgame of Jeopardy.
Yeah, right. So I'm just gonna run through this. Okay, so for the Jeopardy nerds in the audience, you might know some of these names. Previous to James Holzhauer, the record for most money won in a single game of Jeopardy was $77,000, and that was held by Roger Craig. And the other big record, of course, Ken Jennings is known as the greatest Jeopardy player of all time. He has the record for the longest streak, 74 games straight he won. And in those 74 games, he set the record for most money won in regular season play of Jeopardy at $2,520,700. So, I haven't seen last night's episode, but I looked up stats just to include it. James Holzhauer last night tied the record for second longest streak in Jeopardy history, 20 games. So, like, Ken Jennings has a huge lead in that one.
Yeah.
In those 20 games, however, he now has the second most money won on Jeopardy at $1,528,012. Again, he did that in 20 games. Ken Jennings did less than double that in 74. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And as for Roger Craig's single game winnings at 77,000, he has beat that record 10 times in 20 games.
That's insane.
It's crazy. He now has the record. He has the top 10 highest earnings in a single game. His number one is $131,127. It's insane.
That's insanity.
His average per game is almost as much as Roger Craig's previous record. It's absolute insanity. He's blowing away the history of Jeopardy, pretty much. And he's fun to watch too. Like, I don't know, he's got a bit of a personality. He's a professional sports bettor.
Yeah.
From Las Vegas, and I figured that was worth talking about. I've watched everything but last night's episode. I've been actually like tuning in every night. On NTV of all places, because they seem to be the channel that's airing it earliest at 8 p.m. Newfoundland time.
Yeah.
Here. And that brings me to my next point. Have you watched NTV lately?
I can't remember the last time I watched NTV.
Man, it is a fucking trip, because that place, like, that channel is a shit show. I don't know how they're running it. I don't understand the airing, because it's like a show will end, and generally most channels are like, okay, we have this much time in between the conclusion of one show and the airing of the next one, so let's fit these specific commercials in there. Mm-hmm. And NTV is like, hey, here's half a music video, and now here's a commercial that's going to cut off halfway through to show the NTV logo for 10 seconds before we go into this next show. It's just like they're cutting themselves off constantly, and I have no idea who's running the place. It is nuts.
God love.
Yep. Anyway, welcome to Jedi Dropouts. Been a while. We've been a little bit busy.
Yep.
But we're recording the first of 2 episodes today to celebrate our 2-year anniversary.
What?
Yeah, 2 years yesterday, actually, was the premiere of our very first episode.
That's insane.
It is. It's crazy. Time flies.
Like, this is longer than, like, 99% of my relationships.
Yeah. The only relationship I've had longer than this, I married her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it's crazy.
I'm currently in only my second relationship to make it past the 2-year mark, so... Yeah.
And you're marrying her, too.
I am.
Yeah. And speaking of which, you may have a sort of best man involved in that.
Yeah, gonna get the dog all dressed up in a suit. No, yeah, I recently, when Ryan and I attended Avengers Endgame, I asked my co-host to be my best man.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. And it is going to be a time. We're going to have a bachelor party, not with strippers.
No.
With tacos and axe throwing.
And tacos is not a euphemism.
Nope.
No, I gotta say, man, that was pretty slick to ask me in the movie theater before Avengers Endgame. I mean, movie theaters are one of my favorite places on Earth. So that was pretty awesome. And
right? Like, I mean, we host a podcast about, like, geek and nerd culture. Both of us just love movie theaters. Like, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yep.
It was probably, like, easier to figure out, like... Well, it was definitely easier to figure out, like, that's the right time and place to ask Ryan to be my best man than it was to figure out when to ask Emily to marry me.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably wouldn't have had the same effect on her.
No.
So now the only issue is I have to figure out a way to end a best man speech that isn't something dropout, because I don't know if everyone there would quite get it, but
nobody there would get it.
No.
Emily and Charlotte would be like, cool.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking idiots.
Yeah, pretty much.
And other than that, everyone would just be like, is he having a stroke? Like, should we call the paramedics?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Longshanks.
Okay. So we got some stuff.
Just work as many like movie quotes and references in there as possible.
Oh, I'm actually considering that one. Stuff I can slip by.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's a must. Like, even if I'm the only one there who gets them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm gonna work on that. So in the first of 2 episodes, we got some stuff to talk about today. We saw some stuff. We got some mailbag questions here, some news to talk about. Second episode, of course, being entirely an Avengers Endgame review. So we won't say a word about that in this episode. Let's see.
Yep.
Let's touch on the news first. Got a little tiny bit of news here. In our
tiny little bit of nudes.
Yes, tiny nudes.
Yep.
Very like minuscule, pixelated nudes.
It's the only way I know how.
Damn right. In our recent episode, we talked about James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, and we debated some casting of that. Well, they've casted some of those characters already. They have casted Polka Dot Man. He's going to be played by, I don't know how to pronounce this name right, David Dastmalchian. He's best known as Kurt in Ant-Man. He's the third guy in Scott Lang's little posse.
Yeah.
Alongside Michael Pena and
And T.I.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the third guy, the Russian guy. Yeah, he's going to be the Polka Dot Man in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and I think that could be interesting. I don't have a big sample size to pull from on that guy, but he's been entertaining when I've seen him. And secondly, the female rat catcher is going to be played by pretty much an unknown. She's a Portuguese actress named Daniela Melchior, and this is her first time in an English film. So, complete unknown here, which, I mean, seems like a good pull.
I kind of like that, though, because, okay, Ratcatcher isn't that well known of a character amongst, like, casual fans.
Yeah.
Like, big-time DC fans probably know a ton about it, but, like, I'll admit right now, I know pretty much nothing about Ratcatcher.
No, me either.
So, plus, I've been a fan lately of them, like, of just in general casting virtually unknown people and giving them their big break.
Yeah, I like that.
Because, I mean, like, yeah, she might not be the best, but what if she is? Like, what if she's a fantastic actress and this is, like, what gets her foot in the door for a lot of big production English films?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be the first, right? Someone's got to be the first to cast
them.
One of these actors in an English film. So,
Exactly.
I guess we'll find out. I trust James Gunn. His casting is usually spot on anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of the guns,
Yes.
did you see the video that Chris Pratt took on set
Yes.
of Endgame?
I did, yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say about it is, like, as he's panning around, like, showing the cast of the movie all just, like, hanging out on set, all the big stars that everyone expects to be there.
Yeah.
You got, you know, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, you got Robert Downey Jr., everyone like that. And then it pans over to Sean Gunn, and he's just, like, pretty sure I'm the most famous person here. And I almost did a spit take.
Yeah. So, in other movie news, did you happen to catch the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh my god.
We gotta talk about this.
Okay.
The internet blew up about it. I don't even know.
So,
what are your thoughts on this thing?
The very end, we had Jim Carrey kinda looking a bit like how I pictured Robotnik, or
Yeah.
Eggman, or whatever you want to call him. In the credits, he's
Yeah.
Robotnik.
Is it? I thought I saw Eggman in the credits.
I thought on... No, I checked IMDb, and that's where it said Dr. Ivo Robotnik.
Oh, okay. Well. Anyway, whatever you want to call him.
But, like, that one scene in the movie where he's, like, not with, like, looking like the classic Robotnik, like, I think it's the scene in the trailer where he's shooting all those missiles at Sonic.
Yeah.
And it shows him, like, in the cockpit wearing, like, that red leather jacket. He looks like Freddie Mercury trying to go as Michael Jackson for Halloween.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm still of the mind that I think this movie could be fun, but I don't expect it to be good. If you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I think this movie's just gonna be fucking a 2-hour cringe fest. Like,
I don't know. I'm not completely out on this movie. Like, I think the Sonic design I think looks fucking awful. I really don't like that design.
yeah,
But aside from that, I don't know. It looks like a bit of like sort of cheesy, almost like B-movie fun. Like,
I think it's gonna be like Street Fighter the movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of a good comparison.
Is that your dog drinking?
Yes, it is. 2 rooms over, yes. She's still going. Hold on.
She needs to refill the tank so she could go outside some more.
I swear to God.
It's amusing me.
Yep. Okay, yep, and just drip the water all over the house. There we go. So I'll say it right now to anyone listening. If you happen to hear a dog in the background, it's because my dog, for once, is not sleeping through the episode. And it's being a noisy little shit.
For once, it's your dog up and on the go, and my dog's asleep.
Yeah. The roles are reversed today.
Yeah.
So this Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I mean, props for using Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio in the first trailer.
But you know what? Like, if I'm gonna be associating Gangsta's Paradise with any, like, poorly done movie, it's gonna be The Green Hornet.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that scene where Britt and Kato are in the car and they pop on the record and they're just, like, jamming to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. There was one other thing I was going to say, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Okay. One thing I think we can definitely agree on. I think the tagline, "Every hero has a Genesis," is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, because of Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, that was the one part that got me like happy about that trailer.
Yeah, like Detective Pikachu looks like it's going to be a fantastic movie, like an undeniably good movie.
Excuse me.
This looks like it's not going to be well done. It's not like I wouldn't hire anyone behind the making of this movie, but I feel like I could have fun not taking this seriously. I'm still on board for it, and honestly, if this is what it takes to get Jim Carrey back into his zany comedic ways, then fucking I'm all on board. If this is what it takes, because I miss
Ace Ventura, the Riddler, Jim Carrey. Yeah.
The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. Yeah. Anyway, that is the thing. Me and Mitchell chatted about it too. I should throw Mitchell's 2 cents in here, as Mitchell's probably a bigger Sonic.
Yeah,
not probably.
He's
definitely
the Sonic expert
fan
of the group.
Yeah. Let's see. He said that he went from unsure to strongly unsure, and how the trailer seems to go back and forth from "ooh, that looks good" to "oh, that looks terrible." Really liked the look of Dr. Eggman. Did not like his lines as much, and that overall he's expecting something to kill an hour and 20 minutes or so, and maybe a few laughs, maybe a few groans. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, there's gonna be some painful, like, cringeworthy shit, but maybe there's gonna be some fun to be had from it. I don't know. I don't know if I would go. I don't know if. You know what? No, maybe I would buy a movie ticket. I think I'd buy a movie ticket if you had like the right crowd who were in the mood to go laugh at something. Like it almost seems like a good sort of like Mystery Science Theater riff track sort of thing. So bad it's good, maybe.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know.
That is what it is. It's I know. And the only thing about that is I hope it doesn't like do so well that they're like, oh, let's do more of these.
Yeah, I kind of want, like, if they're gonna do a Sonic movie, I want there to be Tails and Knuckles, which it doesn't look like there's going to be in this movie, at least not from what's been released yet. What, leading up to a second one?
Post-credit scene. I don't know. Maybe. I doubt they spend this much money in a movie without expecting to make sequels.
I guess, but then, like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was very obviously, like, they weren't even hinting. They were just like, we're going to do a Sinister Six, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. A lot of these movies now, they'll build the lead up to a sequel into the movie in hopes that it does well enough that they can afford to do a second movie. Just like that Power Rangers movie from a couple years back. I don't know if they're ever doing a second one, but the end of the movie hinted at the Green Ranger.
I didn't hate it.
I don't know if they'll ever do a second one. Actually, that movie wasn't bad. No, the second half, like, the first half was like, okay, whatever. But once they actually went full Ranger and like the actual fight scenes started happening, I thought it was a really fun movie. Anyway, that's something for a different day. We are a Star Wars named podcast, and we never get to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah. First time ever.
Until today. Well, not until today. First time ever. We definitely did not do an entire Star Wars episode last year. But no, we've only talked about Star Wars like, I don't know, maybe half a dozen episodes tops, unless you talk like little bits of news and stuff. But the trailer just recently dropped for Star Wars Episode 9. We got a title. We got some very some surprising news. Oh my god, I can't speak.
Yep.
We got some surprising news from that trailer. I will say, I'm gonna issue a spoiler warning for a trailer. I've never done that before. If you are a Star Wars fan and you have not seen the trailer for the new Star Wars, go check that out before listening to this next bit, because they revealed the return of an unexpected
pause here,
in this
watch
trailer.
trailer,
It is
come back.
Awesome. Okay, so you're back. You've watched the trailer. How cool was that?
Yeah.
So fucking Emperor Palpatine is coming back somehow. Unclear.
Just a Force
in
ghost?
What form is he alive? Is he?
Piss off, Ghost.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. Oh my god, that's a movie I want to see.
Yes, please.
I want to see Korg in a Star Wars movie. Yeah. So the title, what do you think of this title, The Rise of Skywalker?
This is supposed to be the last Star Wars movie. And I don't know if The Rise of Skywalker is really the right title for a last movie. It sounds kind of like the second to last movie to me, based solely on the title. Plus where Luke did his whole Houdini act.
I will say, I called...
Like he just poofed out of his shorts at the end of the last one. So, I don't know, but...
Yeah.
The title I'm kind of like iffy on, but the title's the only thing about this movie I'm iffy on. Everything else I'm just like, take me now, I'm lubed up and ready.
Jesus Christ. I don't know, it is interesting that this is the first movie to have Skywalker in the title. I mean, we've had Sith, we've had Jedi, we've had Force, we've had a lot of these. We've had Empire. You know, we've had a lot of these
clones,
big Star Wars keywords in titles
of
clones. Exactly. Of yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, for starters, I called the rise of part. I didn't get Skywalker, but you know, I'm just curious, who is this Skywalker? Because like the first place your mind goes, and I think the first place a lot of people's mind went was, okay,
which
so Rey is
been
secretly
speculating,
Skywalker.
Yeah.
And honestly, if they do that, if they backtrack on the last movie and make Rey a Skywalker, I will be fucking pissed.
I want her to be a Solo.
I will not be happy with that at all.
Well, if she's going to be anyone,
because
make her a Solo.
Yeah. No, honestly, I'm not saying my word is the final word, but if they make her related to anybody else in this Skywalker saga, I'm out. I'm pissed. Because the message of anybody can be a hero can come from anywhere, is one of the best messages I've ever heard in a Star Wars movie. And it's so strong, it's so meaningful, that she came from nothing and is the hero of these movies. So to just backtrack on it and be like, oh, but also you're related to this handful of people. Like, you've got this fucking huge galaxy, you've got this sprawling saga. Why the fuck does everyone have to be related to, like, 3 families? Like, no, it doesn't have to be at all.
But, like...
That's just my thoughts on it. A lot of people were pissed that she was a nobody.
If she has, like, no lineage that we can see, just this notable character that comes out of nowhere, and before the point she appears on screen, we know virtually nothing about her. I mean, look at what I keep saying about this upcoming Joker movie. That I think Joker is best when we don't know his origin story. We don't know where he came from. He's just this force that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't need to know exactly where Joker came from. Just like you don't need to know exactly where Ray came from. I mean...
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That being said, like, if we do get her backstory and she is tied to one of the, like, few families we know in the Star Wars universe, like, I'd rather it be Solo than Skywalker. Which, I mean, really technically also makes her a Skywalker. Because then she would be Leia's kid.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no getting around it. If she's related to anyone aside from fucking R2-D2, so she's a fucking Skywalker. Yeah.
that I'd be interested in. Yep. I want to hear the story where R2 fucked somebody. I want to hear the story where R2 fucks. Oh, yeah. So, the second candidate here that I guess is also a popular theory is that Kylo is the Skywalker, and that, I mean, technically he is of Skywalker lineage, and maybe he'll...
Where Anakin went from, like, innocent to
Anakin
murdering children.
Prequels. And, I mean, we've seen... Yeah. So, like, he's gone back and forth. He's been struggling with the light and the dark for a while here. So maybe he takes on the Skywalker name, which seems a little strange considering his last... Yeah, but I don't really know exactly how that would work. And I have one theory I read online that I kind of like, and another one that is my personal thoughts here. So, in the trailer, with the reveal of Palpatine, we get the line. Oh shit! What is the exact wording? Is it "No one is ever truly gone"? Is that what it is? Yeah. So maybe this rise of Skywalker is Anakin. Maybe we're getting some sort of
zombie Anakin would be
Ghost
tight.
Anakin, or like a zombie Anakin. I don't know. But the thing is, if we get a zombie Anakin, would he be bad or good at this point? Because he had a sort of redeeming ending just before his death. He died a good guy. So
what if
he wouldn't necessarily be a villain?
I'm just going way left field here. But what if he's a neutral force that's not good, not bad, but he just like he's drawn to the force, and he just like basically just like people who are strong with the force, he basically just wants to like suck their just like ability to use the force. Just feeds on the midichlorians.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe I've been watching too much Flash, where you've just got
interesting,
like, you know,
and with
or like in Legends Tomorrow, you got time wraiths and shit like that.
Yeah.
Just it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. You're busting through time. They're coming for you. Just these ghost-like beings.
Yeah. That could be interesting. And also with the return of Palpatine, it's really hard to say if Anakin
or
is
maybe
back,
he
like,
comes back just because Palpatine's back, and like Palpatine comes back as like a Force ghost, so Anakin's like, motherfucker, I killed you once, I can kill you again.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, in The Last Jedi, we saw through both Yoda and Luke. No, not Luke. Just Yoda. That Force ghosts can interact with physical objects. So, you know, like it's interesting. There's a lot of options here. It doesn't just like I think that title is a little misleading. I think it's
Agent MacGuffin.
And here's my last one. This one I read online. I can't take credit for this. I forgot to write down who actually came up with this theory, but I like it. You notice in the title it's The Rise of Skywalker, not The Rise of the Skywalker. Like, Skywalker is almost used as a blanket term. So what if it's plural? What if Skywalker becomes, and this is a theory, what if they, just like Luke wanted, the Jedi are completely dismantled, there are no more Jedi, and Skywalker becomes a term to use in place of a Force user for the good. Yeah. So Rey could technically not be related, but could be the first.
That's interesting.
Of the Skywalker, and that is the term pluralized.
Or what if Skywalker Ranch, like the main building, is actually just like the head of a mech that mostly lives underground, and it finally like awakens and comes up out of the ground, and it just goes and destroys the Empire. Skywalker Ranch is secretly just a Megazord.
I hope that is true. Somewhere, J.J. Abrams
Skywalker Ranch is the new Death Star.
Like, shit, we gotta do reshoots. I also like the breakdown of that trailer that shows a couple shots that kind of hint at the remains.
I was just about to say that. Lando.
I like that, and I mean Lando's back. Everybody,
it's possible because
you think he's gonna die in this movie?
It seems just like all the classic characters are dying off. Like we got Han, we got Leia, we got Luke. So
yeah.
I mean, maybe it's Lando's turn?
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with Leia exactly. I'm curious to see exactly how that worked, because apparently they just used footage they had that they didn't use from The Last Jedi and built...
Whatever they do, I'm probably going to shed a tear or two.
So, should be interesting. Oh, of course. That's what happens.
Yes, we is.
So, we're very excited for that, obviously. And we have many months to wait for it.
7 to be exact.
This is a big year for like this is a big year for the conclusions of like long stories. I realized that Avengers,
Yep.
Star Wars, Game of Thrones are all coming to an end in the same year, among other things.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, that's it. That's all I got there for the news. Now we're gonna move into the territory of our listener question from the last episode that I completely forgot to post until yesterday, even though the episode's been up for a while.
Business as usual here
totally
at the Bald and Beard Show.
So we kind of asked around for some. Yep, I like that. I like that term, the Bald and Beard Show. It's good. So we posed the question: who is your favorite movie? Oh my God, how do I even phrase it? Your favorite female movie hero or your favorite movie heroine of all time? We do have a few answers here. Let's see. From Facebook, we got Robin Baddis says
not.
Tank Girl. Have you ever read or watched any Tank Girl? I haven't seen any. I don't really have much to say about Tank Girl other than I'm really interested in the comics because I know.
Oh, cool.
It's the same artist that designed the Gorillaz, like the band. Yeah, I forget his name. It's like Jamie something.
Nice.
Anyway, Tank Girl is supposed to be pretty badass, so that's a good left field answer. I like that one. My Final Form co-host Mitchell Clark said he's going to be predictable and say Princess Leia because
For sure.
I mean, it's impossible to argue with that one. It
Yep.
really is. Luke LaRue says Zoe Washburn from Firefly.
Yeah.
And technically Firefly is a TV show, but they made a movie called Serenity, so that totally counts.
It's a solid answer.
And Zoe Washburn is fucking awesome. I love Firefly, I really do. She is, yeah, and she like on a crew filled with other men, who like the captain is a man, the pilot is a man, the big tough burly man who I forget what his actual job is. She is still the most competent and the best soldier among them, and the one with easily the smartest and probably the most skilled. She like stands head and shoulders above the rest of them, which is pretty cool. Firefly has some really great female characters, actually. Let me see. Now, so we were short on answers, so you asked Emily for one, and I asked Charlotte, because honestly, we needed more female input on this. So I was talking to Charlotte this morning before she left for work, and she couldn't think of ones from a movie offhand, but
Nice.
she would like to put a shout out for Arya Stark from Game of Thrones in here. Who, while it's a TV show character that came from a book, like, technically, I guess you could argue that some Game of Thrones episodes are the length of movies, and some Game of Thrones episodes have been released in theaters, so maybe there's a fine line there. Arya Stark is a fucking badass, and if I had thought of her, she would have been on my list for sure. I won't get into any spoiler territory. I'm going to talk about Game of Thrones a little bit later on, but she pulled off some crazy shit on the most recent episode.
Nice.
Oh, and also Charlotte says shout out to Moana, because Moana's fucking awesome. That's a great movie.
I asked Emily as we were like going to bed last night, which like I was barely conscious when she gave her answer because she actually took some time to think about it.
Yeah.
And she said like at first she wanted to say Captain Marvel. Because, like, we had recently seen that movie, like, when it came out in theaters. Emily really enjoyed it. You know, very powerful. And, you know, like, we both enjoyed that movie quite a bit. but she said that seemed too obvious. So she wanted to take some time and think about it. So she took about a half hour to think about
Okay. Yeah.
female characters from movies that she liked a lot as she was growing up. Not just one we've seen recently. And her answer really surprised me.
Okay, yeah.
She said Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. Because she was just like, here's this girl who everyone's just like, no, you're too dumb, like, you don't fit, like, in with this, and you've got this dude who's just, like, kind of talking down to her and being like, no, cute little girl, stay in your lane. And then she just fucking steps up and just, you know, basically just gives them all the finger and it's just like, watch me. And, like, even though she's legally blonde, so she's just, like, you know, supposed to be just, like, a bit of an airhead or whatever, like, you know, she was, you know, Emily saw her as an inspirational figure in her early teen years, and she was like, hey, like, she's being told she can't be a lawyer because she doesn't, you know, look and sound like all the other ones, but she did it anyway and she was good at it, so I mean, maybe I could do whatever I want too. I know, right? Like, she said Elle Woods and I was like, okay. And then she explained it and I was just like,
yeah,
fuck, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, name one other person who managed to get a law
I sure as hell didn't do it.
Popularize the bend and snap and date Luke Wilson. Right?
No. I tried to popularize the bend and snap.
I dated Luke Wilson briefly, but neither of the other ones.
Not enough snap, too much bend.
Just didn't go anywhere. Just didn't catch on. That movie is
on that note, my dog is awake.
Also, I gotta say, it's an underrated comedy.
Right? I told you.
Of course. Hey, wow, what timing! Mine just started snoring. It's
they're like the yin and yang. Like, your dog is like
or asleep
very
at the same
hefty
time. They
and
take shifts.
My dog is very thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both white.
Very, very thin, yeah. Do you think maybe our dogs are somehow like force connected, like Rey and Kylo? Are they communicating somehow?
I was gonna say they're basically like the yin and yang of each other.
Annoy the other one during recording. Yeah.
Yes.
So we did our top fives for female movie heroes. Obviously inspired by Captain Marvel's release, and even more so, like, just important based on some recent events through movies and TV that won't get into because spoilers and whatnot. So I don't know. I think this is a topic that's pretty important that we really should talk about, just because in terms of the heroic action star, well, I mean, they don't have to be actions. Elle Wood totally counts. But being the hero of a movie is something that women don't get to do as often as they should. It's catching on more now, way more, and that's great. But for a very long time, that was not the case.
Okay.
So we're just going to list off our top fives each. I got a couple honorable mentions here as well.
Yeah.
So I'll go through mine, you go through yours, and we'll discuss where we want to, I guess. Honorable mentions for me: Hit Girl from Kick-Ass, because what's more empowering than a tiny little girl slicing and dicing gangsters and just absolutely brutalizing grown men?
I think so.
Yeah, fucking Hit Girl, played by Chloe was it Chloe Grace Moretz? I think is her name. Yeah, I love Kick-Ass, by the way. It's a great movie. Hermione Granger did not quite make my list because I don't really know why. She just got bumped out based on the other ones on my list. I mean, I think she's easily the most competent person in the Harry Potter universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she's a young girl. For most of this, she's a child, really. And there's a lot to be said there, and there's been a lot of talk about her in terms of J.K. Rowling in general. Everybody knows who she is. I don't really need to explain that one. And the last one, based entirely on one scene, one line, is Éowyn from Lord of the Rings, aka the I Am No Man from Return of the King. That was a fucking awesome scene, and almost made the list based on one line, and that is it. Yeah. Anyway, my top 5.
Nice.
Number 5 is The Bride from the Kill Bill movies. That's one I'm expecting maybe made your list. Those movies are just awesome, and you have a woman who was the victim of a brutal assault, just seeking revenge for 2 movies straight, and kicking the ever-loving shit and killing everything in sight. And Uma Thurman is fantastic in everything she's in anyway. Number 4, I have Mulan, because that is one of my favorite Disney movies. I think me and you were chatting about that the other night, before Endgame somehow. Mulan is great. I think the whole story is fantastic. This girl steps up and takes her father's place in the draft for the war, to fight for the Chinese army, and basically the whole movie is just it's shutting down the stigma of you can't do that, you're a woman. And
I just remembered,
fuck you,
when Emily was describing
all of you.
Why, like when you said this "fuck you" thing, I just remembered when Emily was describing why Elle Woods was one of her favorites, or her favorite. She quoted Rage Against the Machine with "fuck you, won't do what you tell me." Yep.
Yes. Oh, that's good. I love that.
But yeah, back to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about Mulan, yeah.
No, that's awesome. I love Rage Against the Machine. Number 3. Yeah.
Yep.
No, well, I said what I had to say about Mulan. Mulan is a great character from a great movie.
I'd be surprised if
and
they
I
aren't.
think they're working on a live action version, which should be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're doing a live action version of just about everything now. Number 3, I said Rey from Star Wars: The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I thought about putting Princess Leia on this list, and while Princess Leia is a solid option, Rey kind of defied more odds, came from a rough upbringing, and is standing head and shoulders. Oh my god! I just used that phrase twice. I'm not gonna say that. She came from a rough upbringing and kind of defied expectations. In the first movie, you're seeing Finn. You expect Finn to be the big hero, or you expect Poe Dameron to be the big hero, and Rey kind of steps forward and goes toe to toe with Kylo. And I don't know, there's something to be said about that. This franchise that is like the biggest sci-fi franchise of all time. She's the very first female Jedi.
Well, there's been other female Jedi, haven't there? Like,
and not just that, but with all
in
the
episode
all the
2 and 3, you could see a few. But the first one to really be focused on.
Yeah, but okay. Yes, the first. Sorry, That's you're right. Besides the extended universe and the cartoons and the prequels and so on, Rey is the first female Jedi to be focused on as a protagonist and to be a main character, and I think it's a big deal, and especially with a lot of the sexism and the toxicity in fandom today, I think it's really important. Number 2 and 1 were really close.
Nice.
Okay, so number 2, I said Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road, because she literally stole the movie straight from underneath Tom Hardy. You go into this movie thinking, oh yeah, Tom Hardy's the new Mad Max, and like Tom Hardy's great in the movie, don't get me wrong, but he's kind of stumbling through the movie. Mad Max is not the big hero. He's not the one who saves the day. Furiosa is the badass. Furiosa is way more competent.
Yeah.
Furiosa is just kicking the shit out of everybody, and it's her movie. Like, I think that Charlize Theron is the main actor in this movie, more so than Tom Hardy. She absolutely steals it, and it's a great movie. I would love to see a spin-off of that movie just focused on Furiosa, honestly. And my number 1 is a little bit of an oddball choice, but I think she's maybe the most important female hero we've ever had. And that is Uhura from Star Trek. Which technically, I guess, is a TV character, but you know, she's been featured in enough of the movies that it counts. But back when the original I'm going to talk about the TV show a little more so than anything here, but back when the original Star Trek series aired, Uhura was the very first black female lead in a TV show. That never happened before. And not only that, but she was involved in the very first interracial kiss shown on television. She made strides for women on television and in movies. She made strides for African Americans in television and movies. And not only that, but Michelle Nichols, the actress, she got involved with NASA, and she started getting more and more women involved in science. She encouraged young girls to get involved in science, and she to have her as I forget I'm not the biggest Trekkie, so I don't remember exactly what her title was off the top of my head. I feel like she was I gotta look that up. And I know all the Trekkies are shaming me here. She was, let me see, what is the title? One second, I gotta get this here. Can't find it. Yeah, she's a translator and communications officer specializing in linguistics, cryptography, and philology, whatever that is. Basically, she's one of the smartest people on that ship. And to have, at that time, a black woman on screen being one of the intelligent people that you go to for information, it's huge. It's like the impact that she had, not just on television and movies, but on society and on culture, on women, and in science, it was groundbreaking, and that is why she gets my number 1 spot. I put her above my own fandoms a little bit, even though I do love Star Trek and I do love Michelle Nichols as Uhura in the original series, as well as Zoe Saldana as Uhura in the new trilogy. I do really enjoy the character.
My list, there is a little bit of similarity.
So you go right ahead.
I will say. get it up here. Alright. My list. Let's see. Let's start from number 5. I also said Beatrix Kiddo. Yep. Yeah. Not going to double down on why, because you already discussed her. Number 4, Leia Organa. I mean, I'd say most people saw this coming from at least one of us.
Good pick.
And it was Mitchell's pick. So I'll get into some of my other ones.
Yep.
Most people who know me know I'm a big horror buff. So for number 3, I reworked my top 3 a little bit. Was tossing them around a little bit. Number 3, I said Laurie Strode.
Okay.
There was a while where I wasn't a very big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. The first Halloween, she was fantastic. Second one was alright. Halloween H2O was, good again. And Halloween Resurrection, I was just kind of like when she died at the beginning, I was kind of like, cool. But then in the new Halloween, goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask that actually. How much of
the new one brought her back around for me.
Your thoughts on Laurie Strode? Yeah, I think that one is maybe my favorite.
Now,
honestly, I think that's maybe my favorite.
Halloween H2O is one of my favorites in the series, which I don't know if that's the most popular of opinions, but you could see the signs of the PTSD there, and she's just trying to live this new life as a mother, as the headmistress of a private school, but it's around Halloween, and that's a big trigger for her, and the kids in costumes, and she's trying to self-medicate and trying to just get through it. But at the end of the day, she's just everyone else, run, I got this. She knows how hard it is to stop Michael. And yet, that was her third movie. Standing against him, and she came out on top again. My number 2 from the Alien franchise, I said Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, this one almost made my list, and I said, you know what? I'll let you take care of that one, because I knew that
up until recently, I loved the Alien franchise. Yeah. Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem, I still love those movies. But the newest 2, is it? Prometheus and the new Alien movie? Yeah. I can't get behind those.
Covenant? Yeah. I don't mind Prometheus as a separate thing altogether, but honestly, I like Prometheus more than Covenant, because Covenant was the one that tried to really blend Prometheus and Alien together,
but
and it doesn't work.
Let's just take the first 4 Alien movies. Alien, Aliens, Aliens 3, and Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one is iconic with the, like, whole, like, Ridley in, like, the mech type suit, like, the loading fucking thing, like, the whole, like, stay away from her, you bitch type thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's just like...
Oh, that's the second one, right?
Like, in some of these movies, you've got these badass, like, dudes who are just like, yeah, I'm a fucking space soldier. I ain't taking fucking shit from anybody. And then you've got this woman who doesn't look imposing at all. And she's just like, sit down, little boy. Like, watch me handle this. And Alien Resurrection, the scene where she, like, figures out, like she stumbles across all the clones and everything, and there's, like, the failed attempts at clones, and they're just there suffering, like, that scene fucking hurts, man. Like, that's emotional. Like, Sigourney Weaver is just, oh, I fucking, like, I kind of want to go binge watch the first 4 Alien movies now after this. Yep. Yeah. If I didn't already have 3 movies on my desk right now as my to-watch pile, I would definitely go binge them. Because I've got Super, Dragon Ball Super, Broly, and Constantine City of Demons there to watch right now. And Super was loaned to me by a coworker, so I kind of got to watch that soon and return it to them.
Good.
But my number one female hero in movies is Alicia Silverstone as Barbara Wilson / Batgirl in Batman and Robin. Yeah. Okay. I put this in as a joke, but I just gotta mention, like,
good stuff.
Barbara Gordon is Batgirl. But they had no way, like, they were making her Alfred's niece instead of Jim Gordon's daughter. Because Jim Gordon's barely in these fucking movies.
Yep.
So instead of her being Barbara Gordon and then, like, just, I don't know, they just made her Barbara Wilson, Alfred's niece. They couldn't even make her Barbara Pennyworth. Like, fuck's sakes. Oh, those goddamn movies. My real number one answer is Sidney Prescott from Scream.
Why not? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Like, the first one, she just, like, Sydney seems like the typical, like, last girl, like, the final girl from, like, most slasher films and everything. Like, the Friday 13th series, Nightmare on Elm Street series, like, those movies always had, like, the final girl. Like, at the end of the movie, there was one girl left, possibly a love interest or brother for her, but it was always the final girl who had the standoff with the killer. In the first one, Sydney is that final girl. The second one, she's like at the end, she's the one who just, like, pops the killer at the end, because she's just like, you know, they come back. She was the one who was kind of like, as the series progresses, you see her, like, less and less like, I'm a victim, and more like, you want me, come and get me. What's that? Yeah.
I just realized something. Your top 3 are all that character. They're all the final girl from the first movie. Laurie Strode, Ellen Ripley, Sidney Prescott. And then they eventually, through the sequels, become those...
Well, I mean, look at Scream 3.
You know, I'm not taking this shit
like,
anymore. Character.
Sydney is isolated. She's got, like, security set up around her house. She works from like a trauma center. Like she's a over the phone counselor for people going through traumatic situations. And she's anonymous over the phone, like she, has her little like alias. And then when the murders start up again, she gets one phone call from the killer, and she just like, fuck this, and she just goes to where Dewey and Gale and all the murders are taking place. And Dewey's like, Sid, like, you were safe up there. And she was just like, A, was I? Because the killer called me, found my number, so he probably could have found my address. B, like, this all has to do with me, so I'm just going to show up and deal with it. I'm going to handle this. And she fucking does. Also, shout out to Scream 3 for having a Jay and Silent Bob cameo.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then Scream 4 is just like... She's just like... She fires Alison Brie because Alison Brie is like, oh my god, we could profit off this. And she's just like, you know what? Fuck you, we're done. I'm not profiting more off people suffering. And then, like... Even at the end, like, one of the last lines in the movie, when she uses the defibrillator to take down the killer, one of the final lines is, don't fuck with the original. I was just like, oh my god, yes. Yep. Like, she's just like all throughout Scream 4, like, the police are nowhere to be found during one of the killing scenes, so she just runs headlong in there, and she's just like, I'm right here. You want me? Come and get me. Like, she, like, actually goes into the house where she knows the killer is, and she's just like, let's do this. And, like, Laurie Strode is setting traps for Michael Myers. Sidney Prescott is basically chasing after Ghostface. And I'm just like, man, like, she's got no fucking superpowers, no psychic abilities, like, nothing like that. She's just a woman who ain't taking any shit. She's like, I've been here before, I've come out on top, I can fucking do it again, try and stop me. Yeah. Scream and Halloween are probably my two favorite movie franchises of all time.
Yeah.
Aside from the MCU.
Yeah.
And
I can see that, yeah. Notice how neither one of us took a single
I almost
Marvel
had
or DC character.
A Marvel character on my list.
I was kind of avoiding it, though.
But for me, I couldn't make up my mind between Black Widow, Gamora, or Nebula. Yeah. Because Nebula starts off as a villain, but, like...
Solid, yeah.
We're leaving Endgame out of this. But by the end of Infinity War, she has fully jumped teams.
Yeah.
From when she's introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy, through Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah, she has.
Excuse me, into Infinity War, Nebula has fully, like, switched teams. Like, she is on the Avengers side against Thanos. And, like, especially when she, like, finds out that, like, Thanos killed Gamora in Infinity War, she's just like, alright, nope. And, like... I kind of like Nebula more than Gamora, to be honest. If I was to put someone from the MCU down as an honorable mention, I'd probably say Nebula. Yeah. I mean, Scarlet Witch is cool too.
That's a solid
and
pick,
Black Widow, but I think Nebula is probably my favorite. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're all solid choices.
I think if I was gonna take someone from the MCU, it would probably be one of the women from Black Panther, Shuri or Okoye. But I avoided the MCU and just because of like recency bias, you know. But like Marvel are doing some great things for women on screen, no doubt about it. Anyway, that was fun, and important. And on that note, we're going to take a short break for a little ad read from our friends at Podcoin. Promise it won't be too long, won't be too invasive on the podcast, and then we'll be right back for more Jedi Dropouts. Hey everybody, Ryan here. Hope you're enjoying the new episode of Jedi Dropouts. Did you know you can actually get paid just for listening to our episodes? I know, it sounds like nonsense. We don't even get paid, and it's our podcast, but it's true. You can, in fact, make money just by listening to Jedi Dropouts through the new wonderful app, Podcoin. Here's how it works. You listen to podcasts through the Podcoin app and earn points, or Podcoin, for listening. You can then redeem that Podcoin for gift cards from places like Amazon or Starbucks. Or, if you feel like being generous, you can donate that Podcoin to a variety of charities. All of this can be done straight through the Podcoin app, available on iPhone and Android. And conveniently enough, we have a nifty little promotional code just for our listeners. All you have to do is use the code Jedi Dropouts at sign up, and you'll receive an additional 300 Podcoin. I'll repeat that, promotional code Jedi Dropouts for 300 bonus Podcoin. That's right, you can finally get something back for putting up with listening to all our nonsense. I honestly put the Good Pizza seal of approval on this app. I use it for 100% of my podcast listening. The directory has just about any podcast you want, and I cannot recommend it enough. Go give the Podcoin app a try today. Now, back to the show. Alright, we're back. That was the first of hopefully many ad reads. Not too long, it wasn't too bad. With our ad reads, I'm just going to explain it a little bit here from Podcoin. Whenever we do an ad read, we get to stay as a featured podcast on the app, and the amount of listens and just traffic we've gotten from that app alone, it's insane. It's like some of our best numbers. So we're going to keep that going. We're not going to let it interfere with the podcast itself too much. Don't want to change what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
Anyway, it is time, and this is probably the latest in an episode we've ever done this, but it is time for the Jedi Dropouts mailbag, finally. Like, well over an hour into the episode. And once again, I slipped up, I fucked off a little, and I forgot to get some mailbag questions. But, thankfully, we had a backlog of mailbag questions, all from Matt Pike, our good friend and loyal listener. So, we have an all Matt Pike mailbag. So, enjoy. And they're all video game related, funny enough. So,
all right.
We will get some video game.
Our first Matt Bag question.
Yeah. Matt Bag? Oh, God.
Yeah.
First one here is, what is the hardest level you've ever played in a game?
Oh, God.
It's tough, right?
Yep.
I got a couple answers wrote down here, because I had to look up the names of these. So, if I'm going with hardest level that I have been unable to beat, I'm not even gonna go into that because I'm not great at video games. So that is a really long list, and some of those levels aren't even hard by, most standards. So I went with hard levels that are I thought were hard. It's universally accepted that they're hard, and I actually managed to beat, which I'm proud of. So I went with Treetop Trouble from Cuphead, because Cuphead is a pretty fucking hard game, but I'm not bad at it, weirdly enough. I'm not usually good with platformers, I'm not usually good with difficult games, but I get the knack of Cuphead somehow. And it's mostly boss fights, so it was really slim pickings for a level in there. But Treetop Trouble was one that gave me a lot of fucking a lot of issues. And the other one, a very classic difficult level from a video game that I did manage to beat, Turbo Tunnel from Battletoads.
Oh my god.
I love Battletoads. I used to play Battletoads so much as a kid. Yeah. I actually really enjoy Turbo Tunnel. It's really fun. I don't, like, I'm not saying that I have no trouble with it. It is fucking hard. But, I don't know, I enjoy it. That's all I've got there. You have anything?
The original Ninja Turtles video game, that underwater level where you're swimming in the fucking electric fucking reeds or coral or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
That game's a little
shit
nuts.
is. Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Yep. That is definitely my answer.
Good call. This one is more of a recommendation than anything, but he wants to know if we've ever heard of the hard rock band The Proto Men, whose music is based off the plot of Mega Man games, and if so, what are our opinions of them?
Never heard of, but definitely want to check out.
I checked them out this morning, just so...
This is the first I'm hearing of them,
yeah.
So...
And I didn't think you had, so just in case you hadn't, I figured I would give them a listen just so, it wasn't like, nope, never heard of them, and that was it, move along. They're pretty good. I don't know if they're really up your alley musically, even if the Mega Man is an obvious mark for you.
Yeah.
They're kind of, I don't know how to describe the music. It's sort of an operatic rock. It sounds like something you would kind of hear on K-Rock, maybe. I don't know. I kind of hear Meatloaf vibes at times, but they're good. They're really good, and they're catchy, and they're a new band, but they don't sound from this era. They sound very much from the 70s or 80s. But they're pretty cool. I will throw shout-outs here to local bands from Newfoundland that do similar things.
Yes.
In terms of video game music.
Yep. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the long-running ones were the Cartridge Family, of course.
Yep.
I don't know if are they still going?
No idea.
I haven't heard of them in a while. If they are, check them out. They're fucking phenomenal. And the new guys in town are Retro Pulse.
Ooh, I haven't heard of Retro Pulse.
I don't know if they just started recently. I saw they did a show with Groots and Rockets, the Guardians of the Galaxy tribute band.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some geeky bands in St. John's playing shows. And Retro Pulse, I saw a video of them playing like the Tetris theme. That sounded pretty awesome. So yeah, go check all those guys out. There's if you're living in St. John's or if you're going to be traveling to St. John's, there's a lot of geeky music going on that way. A lot of geeky live bands. And the last question of this mailbag, this Matt bag, I guess. And I love this question. He says, if life was a video game and babies saw a loading screen before they were born, which quick tips or hints would you leave for them? I think this is a fucking great question. What's your...
Which tips would be in the loading screen before babies are born?
Yeah. So finally, this far into our mailbag, someone is asking for life advice. Life advice.
What's the one that they have in South Park?
In the South Park the game? Or
yeah.
Shit, I don't remember.
Hold on, I'm Googling. Here we go. I'm pulling it up now. Just waiting for it to load. If you're having trouble winning in combat, try getting better at the game.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah. I saw one when I was scrolling through Facebook while I was getting set up this morning, and I almost stole it as a Facebook status, and it just said, "Life is about making an impact, not an income."
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that would be a good one. Just basically, like, you know, don't work your life away. Like, life's about more than just making money and stuff like that. That's kind of what it would be like. Also, like, a big one, don't be a racist piece of shit.
That's a good one too.
I mean, it kind of needs to be said.
Yeah, it does.
It shouldn't need to be said, but
yeah,
these days it kind of does. Like,
yep. I got 3 pieces of very important life advice that I think can really just be used in most scenarios. And if I was going to leave quick tips or hints, these are the 3 that I would choose.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
That's a good one too. I can put my arm back on, but you can't. Crack is whack. Nope. Yep. Skip the prequels. And lastly, most importantly, never trust a Nigerian prince. And yeah. I don't think there's any situation you can run into in life in which one of those 3 pieces of advice would not apply.
Yeah.
Not one.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Don't eat yellow snow is a good one. That is a very important one.
Learned that the hard way.
Yep. Between the 2 of us, we're going to have a very a vast array of loading screen tips. So it won't be the same ones repeated all the time. Like, don't you hate that when you just see the same one every time you reach loading screen? You want a good variety.
Yep.
So
you do.
Yeah. We'll make a book out of these one day.
We should probably get working on that.
The Jedi Dropouts loading screen life tips.
Yeah, trademarked.
You can.
Yep. Loading screen life tips, trademarked. Our new book that we are working on.
Yep. Matt, you don't Matt, you get no
as of
credit
20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes after recording, we are starting work on this.
Yep. Matt, you'll get a thanks. You'll get absolutely no royalties, and just like a quick thanks in the liner notes.
I'll sign your copy. It might not be with my own name, but I will sign it
for half price. Yeah. Okay, so we got one more thing to get to before we end this episode and immediately record
your
another
friend
one.
Krusty the Clown.
Okay. The last thing we're gonna do in this episode. Oh, by the way, thanks Matt for all those awesome mailbag questions. I guess we're gonna have to put a call out for more questions, and
yep.
Hopefully I remember to actually do it this time. So we got some stuff to review. I got a couple little things. You saw a few movies.
Yep.
I'm going to run through mine first, and then we can end on yours.
Yeah.
Mine are, funny enough, from 3 different subscription services, which I am subscribed to. I think I told you the other night about how I have found myself subscribed to Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Crave all of a sudden. So I'm going to run through those. And I'll explain how I got subscribed to those in the process, I guess. So Netflix, I mean, everybody has Netflix or knows somebody with Netflix. You basically, you're more likely to have access to a Netflix account than you are to have clean water these days, apparently. Not to get too political, but it's true. And there's a new Netflix comedy series that just released, I think, last week maybe. It's called I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. Have you heard of this?
No.
Yeah, I saw it. I scrolled past it on Netflix and I said, okay, whatever that is, I don't know. And then I saw some people talking about how it's the hardest they've laughed at something in a very long time. So I said, okay, I'll check it out. It's 6 episodes. Each one of them is under 20 minutes. It's a very, very quick watch. And I will, like, it's not consistently funny. Some of the, it's a sketch comedy. And some of the sketches are, I don't know, they're hit or miss. But when they hit, like, I swear I laughed harder than I have in a very long time. Like, laughing so hard I'm crying. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the whole idea is every single sketch is basically, it ends with someone either having to leave out of frustration or awkwardness or wanting to leave. It's basically like the whole idea is just making people so uncomfortable or annoyed that they have to leave. And that sounds like a premise that would run thin pretty quickly, but oh my god, it is good. Some of the cameos in this are like Steven Yeun, Will Forte, Tim Heidecker.
Nice.
And the main guy, Tim Robinson, very, very funny. First time I've ever encountered him, but he's a very, very funny guy. And I'll score it. Yeah, I'll score it. Why not? That first season, I'd go with like maybe 6 and a crust on the good pizza scale. And I guess in case someone is listening that hasn't encountered a good pizza scale before, if you're a new listener, we like to score movies, TV shows, video games on our good pizza scale. TM, trademark that.
Yep.
And it's out of a total of 8 slices. So we like to throw in the crust sometimes because why not? So 6 and a crust out of 8.
The crust equals the 0.5.
Yeah, essentially, right? It's a really fucking weird way to score things, but it works. The second thing I have to review here is from Amazon Prime Video, which I honestly only have because Charlotte has Amazon Prime, because Amazon is weirdly giving her a student price even though she's not a student, and so fuck it, why not? And it is the new Donald Glover movie, Guava Island, which is, it's really hard to explain what this movie is. It's a musical, comedy, drama of some sort. It's 55 minutes long, which is like the length of some TV show episodes these days, or shorter. It stars Donald Glover, Rihanna, Letitia Wright from Black Panther, and it basically is set on this little island, Guava Island, of course, and it's Donald Glover playing this local musician who's trying to bring joy or happiness to this place that is run by it's run by this sort of militarized like dictatorship, and Donald Glover's basically like a black Gene Kelly in this movie. If you've ever watched an old Gene Kelly movie like An American in Paris or Singing in the Rain or something, and it's got a bunch of Childish Gambino music in it. Some of it is unreleased new music. Some of it, I mean, he manages to fit This Is America in there in like this really cool new rendition of the song. It's charming. I mean, Donald Glover and Rihanna are charming as fuck. It's funny, it's romantic, it's scary at times, it's sad, it could make you cry, it'll make you laugh. It's directed by Hiro Murai, who, if Hiro Murai doesn't get to direct a feature-length Hollywood movie soon, I'm gonna lose it. I need a Hiro Murai movie. This guy, he is the main director behind the TV show Atlanta. He did the This Is America music video. He did this movie. All, mostly Donald Glover stuff. But yeah, like, this was a really fucking good movie. Like, way better than I expected it. And I will score this a 7 and a crust. It is that good. I love this movie.
Nice.
And lastly, I don't have a score for this one because it's unfinished, but I gotta mention that Game of Thrones is back. Season 8 is 3 episodes in, and holy shit, it is unbelievable. The night that it premiered, I thought I was going to have to find other means to get to it because I wasn't sure how to legally watch it in Canada. And found out that if you subscribe to Crave and then add on the HBO bonus pack, then you can watch it live, or you can download it offline and watch it whenever. So now I get to watch Game of Thrones live every Sunday night, and it's fucking awesome. 3 episodes in, I won't spoil a thing because it's filled with spoilers. But the first episode was just like a bunch of really satisfying reunions. Characters that haven't seen each other since season 1, way back in 2011, are meeting again for the first time. Some of them even family members. The second episode is the entire episode is just preparing for a war, and you have all of these characters that you've grown to love preparing for their inevitable death, and it's basically like a bunch of like really heart-wrenching scenes. Maybe the best episode of the show yet. And the third was the longest battle scene ever recorded in movie or TV.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an hour and I think it was like an hour and 20-minute episode, and the whole thing was a battle scene. And
Jesus.
It was fucking incredible. I was on the edge of my seat. I nearly cried a few times. I didn't shed a tear, but I came very, very close. But I think most of that was due to this was like the day after I watched Endgame, so I was kind of desensitized a little bit.
Yeah.
But holy shit, what an episode! A lot of people are pissed about the way it ended, but I personally loved it. I actually was at work when I got to finish it, and when the big conclusion came in the end of the episode, I jumped out of my chair. I was that excited. I could not have predicted it better. It was fucking amazing. And if you're not watching Game of Thrones, like I can't recommend this show enough. I know you haven't seen any yet, but
yeah,
I feel like it's got to be on the list for you sometime, man. I know you're not like as big into fantasy as you are a lot of other things, but for the pure fact of like the insane size of this cast, everybody can tune into the show and find a character that they can sort of attach themselves to and root for. And man, oh god, this fucking show. Anyway, when the season ends, I'll give it a proper score and whatnot. Yeah, that's it. I could go on about Game of Thrones for a lot longer, but holy shit. So you saw some movies.
I saw movies.
Yes.
A couple.
Yep.
How many movies have I seen since the last time we reviewed?
That's a good question.
Not counting Endgame.
Not counting Endgame, because that'll be the next episode. But if I am not mistaken, our last episode was Captain Marvel. You've definitely seen Us.
Yep.
Shazam.
Yes.
I think those are the big two, right? You didn't get a chance to see.
I think those are really the only two.
You didn't see Pet Sematary or Hellboy, right?
No, I didn't get a chance.
So yeah, those are the two. And tread lightly on Us, because I do not want anything. I want nothing on this movie.
Okay. Well, I'll start with Us then and get that out of the way.
Okay.
I loved this fucking movie. Loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than Get Out, which is very high praise.
That is a bold fucking claim, but I love it.
Like, am I going to say that everyone who sees it will think it's better than Get Out? No. But I liked it more than Get Out. Like, there was one part in this movie where, just like watching it, I felt anxious.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just something about it just made me feel uncomfortable and anxious, which is what I want in these kinds of movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if a horror movie or a thriller or a suspense movie doesn't, like, give you that feeling, like, you know, need to try a bit harder.
That's the big thing that I loved about Hereditary, because Hereditary made me feel anxious and claustrophobic and things that I don't normally feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the main cast of this movie is very minimalist.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I like about movies like this. Like you can have these big ensemble movies with these huge, massive casts, like Infinity War or Endgame. But some of my favorite movies are movies with a very small cast.
Yeah, I agree.
I know, like, Strangers Prey at Night, like, isn't the best reviewed movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And the cast for that movie is only like a dozen people.
Yeah.
Like, movies don't need to have huge casts.
No. I mean, Shaun of the Dead, my favorite movie of all time. Unless you count the zombies, obviously, the extras. You've only really got, like, you know, I'd say less than a dozen characters that really get a lot of lines.
Yeah.
And the main cast being closer to half a dozen, really.
Like, there's a nice few extras in certain scenes in this movie.
For sure.
But the actual cast, like, characters whose names you get to know, is quite small.
Nice.
I definitely would like to talk about this movie again after you've seen it, so we can try and, like, piece together some of the symbolism in the movie and talk about, like, the social commentary and stuff.
Well, let's be real. This is making it on either one of or both of our year-end list.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we can dive into it in October at some point anyway, right? Like, there's lots of chances for us to dive into this.
Oh my god, yes.
And maybe when I see it, I'll be too excited to not talk about it in the episode anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
There were a few things that, like, I didn't understand about the movie. Like, maybe I just missed something. Maybe they were explained and I just didn't pick up on it. But they weren't things that affected the plot of the movie or anything. It was just, like, a scattered detail here and there. Yeah. I was just kind of, like, when it was on screen, I just picked up on it, and I was just kind of like, oh, I hope they explained that little detail, but they didn't, to my knowledge.
Okay.
But again, it's nothing that makes or breaks the movie. It's just, yeah, one of those things that I was just curious about as the movie went on, that I was like, oh, I was kind of hoping that they would explain it, but they didn't. That's cool. Other than that, I'm not really going to say too much about the movie because, I mean, spoilers and shit for you.
Yeah. Yep. I really want to hear as little as possible here.
I thought the casting was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I love this movie, and I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
I'm really excited. It's the movie I'm easily the most excited to see this year.
Yeah.
Which is saying something in a year with a new Star Wars and Avengers movie.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
Honestly, man, at this point, like, Get Out is one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yeah, I've lost count of how many times I've seen it.
Right? And if you haven't watched it with the audio commentary, man, I do recommend that. Jordan Peele breaks down that movie and explains so much stuff I didn't catch in rewatches.
Yeah, I haven't watched it with commentary.
Real good.
Gonna have to check that out.
Do you want to score this on the Good Pizza scale?
Now I can't remember what I gave Get Out.
I don't think you ever formally did score Get Out on the Good Pizza scale, just because we hadn't started the podcast when that movie came out.
Okay.
And I don't think we came up with the Good Pizza scale until after a lot of our talk of Get Out anyway.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
If I had to score it right now off the top of my head, I'd probably give it 7, maybe 7 and across. No, definitely 7. I'd give it 7.
Okay.
Which is still 7 out of 8 is a fucking great score.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, Get Out on its own is a straight up 8 out of 8.
Okay.
Like, that's a... It really is. Like, when I try and think of my favorite horror movies of all time, that's top 5 for me. Anyway. So on the other end of things, you also saw Shazam.
Yeah, and on the other end of things would definitely be a good way to start that.
Yeah, and...
Because I didn't hate this movie, but I had problems with it.
Yeah. Which I didn't really expect. That's not the reaction I expected out of it.
No. I'm assuming I'm allowed to go a bit more into spoiler territory with this one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've I've heard a couple little things. I maybe put a spoiler warning on some stuff here. If you're going to go into some of the stuff, I think you might. There's a cameo I heard about. There's I think like a post-credit scene, and as well as something else that comes about in the movie that I don't think people are, like, anyone who hasn't seen it probably wouldn't expect.
Okay, so we'll throw out a spoiler warning right now. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler.
Yeah. You don't want Shazam to be spoiler.
Big blinking lights, screaming spoiler.
Yeah.
Just in case of anything that comes up right now.
Yep.
Okay. Overall, like, it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't hate it, but like I said, I had a lot of issues with it. Like, it seemed to focus way too hard on, like, the lighthearted stuff, like the funny stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like, to me anyway, that it was trying to be, like, people complained about how dark the tone of some DC stuff was. So it seemed like it was trying to go too far the other way.
Okay.
And, like, it seemed like it was trying to recreate a bit of Deadpool's success to me.
Yeah, I kind of got that idea from the trailer.
Speaking of the trailer, like, there was a thing that in the movie bothered me that I pointed out in a trailer for it the other day.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah.
Like, the scene where the bus falls off the overpass and, like, it's hanging there for a few seconds and a few passengers fall from, like, midway, the back of the bus, land on the windshield's cracking, and then the bus completely falls off the overpass and he catches it with two completely straight arms, his hands planted on the windshield. Like, how does the windshield not break? And then he doesn't drop the bus lightly.
No.
Like, that would, like, the force in which he put the bus down definitely would have gave a couple people some whiplash. There's a scene, like, during the big fight at the end. He's, like, fighting the big bad of the movie, and they're, like, in the sky fighting and flying and shit, and they're fucking a little bit of distance apart, and this is supposed to be, like, the big tense fight, and, like, Mark Strong starts doing his supervillain monologue, and then Shazam is just like, "Are you monologuing? You're too far away. I can't hear you." And it's, like, cutting back and forth between Mark Strong, like, delivering his superhero or his supervillain monologue, and Shazam being like, "I can't hear you. You're too far away. What are you saying? Are you monologuing?" And it's just, like, cutting back and forth, and it just kind of, like, it really put a damper on the tone of the scene.
Okay.
Because, like, the movie had, like, a bunch of really lighthearted scenes and stuff like that, and it was, like, you know, it had silly moments and stuff like that. And then, like, we get to this fight scene that's, like, it's a bit more serious at that time, and then, like, just throw this kind of, like, silly moment right in the middle of it. It just kind of, the tone just kind of, like, took a, like, hard turn.
Yeah.
And for a movie that focused so much on, like, shit just being light, when it finally got serious at that point, like I get during the big fight scene in Deadpool, for example, like, there's still funny moments.
Yeah.
But that's fucking Deadpool.
Yeah, it's hard to get the balance right, because what comes to my mind, too, is the first Guardians movie.
Yes.
with the dance off bit. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
And that's basically like the kind of thing it took, like that hard turn. But like, I found that in Shazam, it missed its mark.
Yeah.
I don't know, and like Shazam itself is an acronym.
Yeah.
Like he's got the first letter in Shazam, the S, is for the wisdom of Solomon.
Okay.
And because, like, you know, he has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, like the, you know, stamina of Atlas.
Yeah.
But the first fucking letter is for the wisdom of Solomon. So he's supposed to be wise. And then, like, a lot of this movie is spent, like, it's as if you just put the teenager in the super body. Like,
Gotcha.
like, the whole reason that bus goes off the overpass is because he's up by, like, the Rocky Memorial, and he's just busking by being like, hey, look at me, I'm a superhero, and toss money in this hat to watch me shoot lightning out of my fingers.
Jesus Christ.
And he's just like, he's got a song playing, and he's like, like, trying to recall, I can't remember if it's Eye of the Tiger or not. Or if it's like fucking Thunderstruck or something stupid.
Yeah.
But he's just like, lightning, lightning, lightning. And one of his foster siblings is just like, dude, you're being an idiot right now. Like, you have this amazing gift, and you're wasting it just to, you know, make some money busking.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you're just jealous because you can't shoot lightning. And he shoots like big fucking, like an extra big lightning bolt. And that's what fucking causes the bus to crash and go off the overpass that he then needs to rescue.
Of course.
And he's just like got this cocky chip on his shoulder like, I'm a superhero. I'm a superhero. For like so much of the movie. And it's just like, where is this wisdom supposed to be?
Yeah.
It just basically seems like pretty much all the movie just like you have a teenager in Superman's body, basically.
Yeah.
Like, just he's immature and just like, yeah, he saves the day at the end and he learns a lesson, but I don't know, I felt like they completely missed the mark with this one. Like, when I found out that they were making a Shazam movie, I was excited.
Yeah, you were really excited
I
by
was
the trailer,
hyped.
too.
Yeah. But, I don't know, after watching the movie, it's, like, in the bottom 3 of the DCEU for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just... And I was excited going into it, but then, like... Some of the scenes in this movie just started making me a bit cynical. And then, like, there'd be one scene that would just hit me as being dumb, and then I just kind of, like, it would sour my mood a little bit, and then, like, I was just getting more and more nitpicky as the movie went on, just being like... And then something else would make my mood even more sour, and I'd just be like, ugh, I was, like, rolling my eyes at certain parts of the movie. And I was just like, there was still some stuff after that I was like, oh, cool. But then, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't hit home for me.
Mm. Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd definitely say, like, go watch it. But, like, don't have too high hopes for it.
Yeah. It wasn't really at the top of my list anyway. And maybe I'll end up liking it more than you just because I won't have that potential for disappointment factor.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah, but I guess we'll find out when I do get a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to touch on there with Shazam or?
Not really. The post. Well, actually, yeah. I'll mention the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Like, there were some comparisons in the movie between Shazam and Superman.
Yes.
And, like, there are people wearing Superman shirts and stuff like that because, you know, it's supposed to be in the same universe as the rest of the DCEU. With, like, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You know, there's multiple references to them all. Like, people wearing Aquaman shirts and talking about batarangs, and here's a bullet that, you know, is flattened out from hitting Superman's chest and stuff like that. And so, like, they mentioned Superman, and then during the post-credit scene, Shazam in superhero form shows up to the school that all the kids in the movie go to during lunch, and he's like, "Hey, look at me! I'm the superhero around here that everyone knows, and that kid sat over there who's been getting bullied is my best friend." And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And then he's just like, "And I brought someone else with me," and a Superman that is not visible from the shoulders up walks into the frame.
Really? That's how they did it?
Yeah, no face.
So you don't actually see Henry Cavill?
No.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, it was just like from waist to shoulder.
How did nobody mention that in the spoilers that I read? Because I just straight up read what happens, and all people said was that, wow, Superman showed up. And I was here thinking, really? I didn't ever expect Henry Cavill to get in costume again. And I guess he didn't.
No.
Wow.
And whoever it was, like, okay, you watched the Superman movies, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's very wide.
Yes, he is.
Like, his shoulders are wide. He's got massive lats.
Yeah, he's a broad man.
Yeah, he's got that big V shape to his body.
Yeah.
And whoever they had in costume for Superman for this didn't have quite the same build.
That's interesting.
Like, it was still like, you know, it wasn't like scrawny or out of shape or anything like that, but it wasn't the same build. And there were certain points where, like, there was no scene where it showed Zachary Levi or Levy or whatever his last name is out of the Shazam costume, because when he says Shazam and turns from Billy to, you know, superhero, he's just, whatever he's wearing, he's just automatically in that suit, right?
Yeah.
So it never shows him out of costume, so it never shows what kind of physique he has, but there's points in that movie where it looks like the suit is padded.
Oh, really?
Like, to me anyway, it looks like he's just your average tall man wearing one of those, like, Walmart suits that you get around Halloween with, like, the foam muscles in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's how it looks to me at certain points in this movie. Like, he looks like he's wearing an inflatable suit.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah, the best I can give this movie right now with my current opinion on it is 4 slices.
Oh, wow. 4 slices. Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you know me when it comes to superhero movies in theaters. Like, I... Like... 2 days after we're recording this, I'm going to see Endgame for a third time. I went once with my friend Steph. I went once with you, and I'm going once with Emily because we're finally getting a day off together.
Yeah, yeah.
Deadpool, I saw 3 or 4 times in theaters. The first one.
Yeah.
Like, it's not unusual for me to go see these types of movies multiple times in theaters.
Not at all.
And Shazam, I, like, honestly, if someone asked me to go because they were like, hey, I know you've already seen it, but, like, I'm going tonight, do you want to go? I probably would have said, no, like, I'll hang out, like, before or after the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was worth my money to, like, go see it a second time.
And you're generally more forgiving than most with DC movies.
Yeah.
So, it's funny, though, because it's getting pretty good reviews, isn't it?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know, Mark Strong was a decent villain, even though, like, I knew nothing about the character.
Yeah. Mark Strong's usually pretty good anyway.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, since we're getting into spoilers, there was the scene at the very end where, like, he imbues his foster siblings with, you know, his powers.
Yep.
And for some reason they had actors and actresses that I wasn't familiar with for the most part, except the one kid who, you know, the one with the crutches who was in It.
Yeah.
Turns into Adam Brody.
Adam Brody, really?
Yeah, he was the only recognizable one there.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why would they have Adam Brody, who, like, you're gonna like, he's a recognizable face.
Yeah.
Like, the OC and everything like that. Like, people know who he is. Even if they don't know his name, like, when he pops up, they're gonna be like, oh, that guy! And then a bunch of people, like, he was the first one they focused on, and then the rest of them after that, I was, like, thinking, like, oh, it'd be cool if they got, like, a bunch of big names to play these characters.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the foster siblings all turn into superheroes for, like, the last, like, little bit of the movie. It's a very short thing. It'd be a perfect opportunity to have some cameos.
Yeah.
But the only one they had was Adam Brody.
That must mean that they're going to do another and he's going to get a bigger role.
Maybe?
I would imagine. That would be my thoughts on it. Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't know.
Yeah. So, that's Shazam, and that is a cap on our first of 2 episodes today.
Yes.
I'm gonna release them, I think, at the same time as well, depending on how long mixing takes. Maybe I'll just have this one up a couple days before the other.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, thanks for listening. As always, you can check out other episodes of Jedi Dropouts, Final Form, and whatever else we do over at www.jedidropouts.podbean.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you haven't already, go check out the Podcoin app. It is my favorite place to listen to not just Jedi Dropouts, but any podcast. As I mentioned in the ad earlier, you know, you can get gift cards, you can make charity donations based on that. And I know that I've been harping on Podcoin a little bit, but I love it. I personally use it every single day, and that is not a lie. I noticed a couple, at least a couple listeners that I'm familiar with, I've seen hop on the Podcoin app because I can see them on there as followers and as listeners, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And make sure to check out our TeePublic as well. You get yourself some Jedi Dropouts merch. Loving all the pictures that have come in, people wearing their Jedi Dropouts t-shirts. I have a couple from like last week or so that I still haven't posted. I'm going to post those on the Instagram today. I'm very slack, and I apologize for that. I guess that is it. Anything I'm forgetting here? Any more business?
Not that I can think of.
Nah. Okay, thanks for dropping by.
And something, drop out.
Later.
Peace.
This has been a Jedi Dropouts production.